If somebody is committing a sexual crime against a minor, anyone who finds out about it is required by law to notify the authorities. Instead, Planned Parenthood helps cover up the crimes. This is the voice of resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
Welcome to today's program, friend. We are in a 5-part series on Planned Parenthood and Obama's relationship to Planned Parenthood, the history of Planned Parenthood. If you missed any of the episodes, you can watch them all online for free. All right? Go to our website and avail yourself of the material. We want to again thank the courageous efforts of Lila Rose and those who work with her. We want to thank Mark Crutcher for his research, other people who have exposed the atrocities that Planned Parenthood is committing. We have a duty before God to fight for justice. We have a duty to protect children. And in case you forget the heart that God has for children, Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me." He said, if somebody causes one of them to stumble, it would be better if a millstone were tied around their neck and they were drowned in the depths of the sea. That's not only intense language, it's a pretty violent picture. Having somebody dropped by or drowned by a millstone, dragging them to the depth of the ocean. And God said, be careful how you treat the orphan and the widow. Because he said, if you mistreat the orphan and the widow and they cry out to me, he said, I'll hear their cry and I'll make your wife a widow and I'll make your children orphans. We must understand that true religion, James said, undefiled religion, is to help the orphan and the widow, the fatherless, in their distress. And the young girls that are trapped in this horrific trade, they're fatherless and they're being abused. And what's going on with Planned Parenthood is inviting the judgment of God, not only on Planned Parenthood, but on our whole country for allowing this horrific atrocity to continue. Meet Planned Parenthood. Welcome to the program, friend. We are in the middle of a 5-part special on Planned Parenthood and President Obama. In today's segment and in tomorrow's, we are going to cover some of the most insidious and dark material that we have ever covered on this show. I recommend that you tell any small children that are with you to either go to another room or that you record this, if you have the ability, and play it at a later date. If you've just joined us in the middle of this series, you can go to our website, voiceofresistance.com, where we focus intensely on President Obama's words that he recently gave at a Planned Parenthood conference, and we focus on the wicked deeds of Planned Parenthood. Now, give honor to whom honor is due. Lila Rose and her organization, Live Action, have done an incredible job with undercover research to bring to light the fact that Planned Parenthood is involved in covering up sex trafficking. In other words, they are involved in a federal crime. We're going to show you footage today that Lila Rose and her organization brought to the surface. We tip our hat to you, Lila, if you get to see this. You've done a phenomenal job. We also want to honor Mark Crutcher, Life Dynamics, childpredators.com. They spent an enormous amount of time getting nearly 900 recordings, mostly at Planned Parenthood offices, showing that Planned Parenthood was absolutely willing to break the law regarding reporting sexual crimes against minors. All right? They had a woman posing to be a 13-year-old calling and saying that her boyfriend was 22. This is statutory rape. In most states, it's a felony. And in most states, Planned Parenthood is required by law to report to the police immediately when they know that a girl is the victim of a sexual crime. Well, over and over, Planned Parenthood showed that they were willing to cover for the predator and leave the young girl in her sexual abuse and sexual bondage. We will play some of those clips today and in tomorrow's program as well. Now, to set this up, almost for comic relief, I want to play a clip from President Obama's speech at Planned Parenthood.
Because the women you serve know you and they trust you. And the reason for that is that you haven't let them down before.
President Obama, are you joking? I mean, did you mean to make us laugh? Or is your heart so hard and your soul so sick that you would stoop to such a lie? The Planned Parenthood was serving women, and they go and they have women's best interests in mind. His speech was full of that. All right. As I stated, Lila Rose, professional actor, they go into Planned Parenthood, and he poses as a pimp, the woman poses as a prostitute. Let's play the first clip.
Is it confidential talking here? Or okay. So I'm involved in sex work. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Okay. There's some girls that I kind of manage, and I think I might have caught it from one of them.
All right. Now, he just told them, I am a pimp. All right? She works at a Planned Parenthood. He says, I manage several girls. We're in the sex industry, the sex trade, okay? He's a pimp. She knows he's a pimp. Now, when we come back from this break, we're going to play more clips from this interview in which he tells this worker that he has 14 and 15-year-old girls that he is selling. And what do you think the worker does at Planned Parenthood? I'll be right back. Don't go away.
Oh, okay. Let me stop you right here, because if you tell me anything else, I have to call the police.
Why?
Because you're 13 and your partner's 22, right?
Yeah.
That's against the law. I have to report it by law.
Oh.
So I don't want to know your name or anything about you if you don't want me calling the police.
Okay.
So what you need to do is you need to call completely anonymously and, talk to someone on our appointment line.
Okay.
And don't tell us anything about who your partner is.
Okay.
Okay?
You have two choices. I mean, you can try to raise your children by design, or you will raise them by default. There are no perfect parents. We're going to get it wrong sometimes. If we have a plan, we've got a better chance of getting it right in the long run.
There is something deep within the heart of every human being that longs for parental acceptance and approval. When does a boy become a man?
Get a group of guys around and ask them that question.
I don't think there's a certain age. Some men stay boys their whole life.
I would say, 16, 18 years old.
Wow, that's a good question.
When they get bar mitzvah?
Well, I think when he has a child. So I just became at 56, 56 years old.
Without the power of the Holy Spirit changing us and giving us power over our sin, we can't hope to be the dads that our kids need us to be.
Welcome back to the program, friend. I want to play the clip again for you in case you just joined us, where this man identifies himself as a pimp to a Planned Parenthood employee.
Is it confidential talking here? Or okay. So I'm involved in sex work. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Okay. There's some girls that I kind of manage, and I think I might have caught it from one of them.
All right. Now, he is going to tell the woman the ages of the girls, and listen to this conversation. Listen closely.
But like some of them kind of young, like 14 to 17 type range, but some of them are from like out of this country though, so it's like they don't, they're not going to speak that good in English. So would I be able to come in here and help them fill out the paperwork or fill out their information, because they're going to have a hard time reading it, a hard time knowing it, they're going to have to be walked through it, and otherwise they're not going to be able to get any help. They're going to be just like, you're just going to leave,
Right.
So
we do have translation services here.
Okay.
What are the ages of them again?
From 14 to about 17.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys will be able to help them out,
Yeah, I mean, we do see
keeping them safe and whatnot.
teens that young.
Okay.
We do encourage parental involvement.
Yeah. I'm definitely trying my best to make sure that everything is safe for them. Okay.
I can give you our telephone, but anybody here can help you. I mean,
Okay.
and everything here is confidential. We can't give any information out.
Okay.
Are you hearing? 14 to 17. Now, he has just confessed to this woman, who is required by law to tell the authorities when there is a sexual crime being committed against a minor. He has just told her that he is running a prostitution ring with girls that are 14 to 17 years old, and that some of them are immigrants. Read illegals. Read, more importantly, that they're involved probably in sexual slavery. Congress has had hearings on this. The authorities know in major cities right now that there are girls who have been smuggled into the country from the four corners of the globe who are underage. They have been brought here and they are literally living in sexual slavery. He has just told her that he is involved in this. But worse, she says, well, we do he says, I want them safe. It's like saying, I've got a woman in another room and I cut her at night. She's chained to the wall and I cut her at night, but I want her safe. I want to make sure that these wounds heal properly. They don't get infected, because if she gets a bad infection, I won't be able to cut her and enjoy this the way I really like it. He is sexually abusing these girls himself. He tells the Planned Parenthood employee that he thinks he got the STD from one of these minors. And he wants them all tested because he's involved with all of them sexually, as well as selling them sexually on the street. This is appalling. This is disgusting. This is a criminal act. And she says, well, we do encourage parental involvement, to which he says, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to make sure they're safe. Read between the lines. I'm their daddy. Did you know that in the prostitution world that the pimp is referred to as daddy or the daddy? That's how he responds. God save us. Christ save us. Jesus save us. Some are kind of young. Can I help fill out the paperwork for them? In other words, I'm going to lie. I'm going to read this paperwork, and I'm going to make sure that it says what some government official wants it to say, so that I can keep my prostitution ring going. And then she finishes up saying, anybody here can help you. And it's all confidential. We will commit to you, sir, that we will keep your business thriving. We'll keep it confidential. We won't go to the authorities, even though we are required by law to do so. Do you see how sick this is? Have they no compassion? They're going to allow him to trot a group of 14, 15, 16-year-old girls into the office, girls who are clearly in sexual slavery, girls who are clearly walking crime scenes, and they're saying to him, we're going to let you fill out the paperwork, we're going to let you keep your crime a secret, and we're going to let you retain confidentiality even though you're committing a crime. Is this unusual? Let's go to another city when we come back from this break. This actor's doing a great job, by the way. I don't know who he is, but he deserves an Emmy for this. I'll be right back.
Yeah, but it's a legal thing. So,
well, what could happen?
Well, he could get in trouble, not you, but he could. So,
Are you going to tell on him?
No, I won't. But maybe when you go to the doctor, you shouldn't tell them how old your boyfriend is.
Oh, okay.
I think that would be better.
Okay.
Just, maybe have a girlfriend come with you and tell him your boyfriend's 16 or something.
Oh.
Because he could get in a lot of trouble.
Okay.
Okay, so don't say anything about that.
In social revolution, peaceful social revolution, there are rules. And those rules have been established by social revolutions of the past, and the Christian community in America has failed to obey a lot of those rules, and that's why we keep losing. I put together Insurrecta Next, a 14-part television series on the history and the theology of social revolution. I encourage you to watch it. It will make you a force for righteousness, for social revolution. Welcome back, friend. The man posing as a pimp goes to another abortion mill. That first segment we saw was from Charlottesville, Virginia, I believe, and the next one is Falls Church, Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. He goes into the Planned Parenthood. He tells the woman that he has VD. He's got a sexually transmitted disease. And then this is what he says.
I'm involved in sex work.
Okay.
Okay. I believe I got it from one of the women that I manage.
Okay.
It could be her or several of the other girls.
Okay.
And they will need to be tested as well.
Right.
All right. He tells her, I've got VD, and I think I got it from one of the girls that I manage in the sex trade. All right? Once again, he goes right to the core of the matter. I am a pimp, and I have prostitutes, and I want to bring them here. But again, to show the criminal conspiracy that Planned Parenthood is involved in, he then continues by telling their age.
Now, we have some girls that they do not necessarily have all their documentation. Some of them are from out of the country. Okay. Then we have a couple of girls that are pretty young, about 14, 15, but they need to be safe as well. I need to make sure that they're safe.
All right, you heard it. I've got young girls. They don't have documentation. They're here as immigrants. They're 14 and 15 years old. And again, his line, I want them to be safe. By definition, they're not safe. They are the victims of crimes. And then here's what Planned Parenthood finally says in response.
A lot of people who don't have documentation, there are clinics and stuff they can go to that don't require even a photo ID. So I mean,
Really?
it's not.
Really? Do you know of any?
I'm pretty sure the health department.
The health department.
Is one.
The health
They
department.
have to live in that county though. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If they live in Fairfax County, they go to Fairfax Health Department.
We have an address we can give them. Okay.
Yeah. So and that's free testing too. So that might be.
Okay. And even for the younger girls, they can get tested there too as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, nobody's going to refuse service. I mean,
Okay. And even here, they can get you said they can get the birth control here still, and they can get the testing here as well.
No one will be denied service. Sir, we are committed to keeping your prostitution ring with illegal, underage young women. All right, the girls aren't illegal, but they're here as illegal immigrants, probably smuggled into the country. We're going to keep your prostitution ring in business, and we're going to break the law, and we're not going to tell the authorities, even though we are required by law to do so. This is a criminal conspiracy. It is damnable. Some of these people, I think it's safe to say, are going to burn in hell for this. And I want you to just open your heart a whisker, just a little bit of emotion for the terrified 14-year-old girl from China, from Thailand, from Russia who is here as a sex slave, literally the slave of a mafia-type organization who is being sold like chattel property. And Planned Parenthood sides with the predator, with the pimp. And by the way, these clips that we're playing on the way out of these segments, these are actual recorded phone calls. Thank you, Mark Crutcher, Life Dynamics, childpredators.com. You're hearing the phone calls where Planned Parenthood employees say that they'll help cover up the crimes of a child predator. I'll be right back.
Because you go in front of a judge and then he grants permission for you to have an abortion without your parents finding out. My problem is that if I were you, and this is just strictly off the record, if I were you, I would not say anything about your boyfriend being 22 years old.
If you would like to teach the principles of social revolution in America using our television series, we put together a facilitator's guide for Insurrecta Next, the history, the philosophy, the theology of social revolution in America. The student handbook has blanks. The facilitator handbook has all the answers. You'll look like you really know a lot, and you can help lead a discussion group in your church or in your Bible study. Get it today. Do you want to get America out of the hands of wicked and unjust men and women who are destroying the republic before our eyes, and put leadership back into the hands of righteous men and women so that we don't die as a nation? Well, you're talking about social revolution, and there are rules in social revolution. We can look at the victorious social revolutions of the past, such as the end of slavery, the end of child labor, women's voting rights, the end of segregation, and so much more, and learn from their victories. Look at their actions, their images, their rhetoric, their sacrifices, and their final fruit. We will send you this series that originally cost $129, 7 books for students, 1 teacher's guide, if you'll give a gift of any size and just pay for shipping and handling. Take advantage of it today.
Because the women you serve know you and they trust you. And the reason for that is that you haven't let them down before.
Actually, all that clip has to say is that the pimps know you. The pimps trust you. The child predators know that you haven't let them down before. Planned Parenthood is more committed to crimes against women and babies, the murder of babies, than they are to protecting these young girls. All right, listen, I'm going to continue with this one more day, but let me finish by saying this. These are crimes. Now, in addition to these crimes against these young women, and if you've got small children in the room, you need to get them out. You need to remember that Planned Parenthood kills over 300,000 babies a year, like this baby, and this baby, and this baby. I know that these stories are difficult to hear. I know that these images are difficult to see. And again, I thank this network and these affiliates who are committed to telling the truth and are committed to not being a part of the cover-up. As far as we know, there's no other television show in America that is doing this kind of in-depth expose on Planned Parenthood and Obama's treachery against women and children. But it's not enough that we know the truth. We've got to hammer our politicians. We've got to tell our federal congressmen and senators and our state representatives and senators politely, if you vote to give our money to Planned Parenthood, we commit to you to take you out of office. You and I have to learn how to politely threaten people with their job so that this crime against women and the murder of babies doesn't continue. Be back tomorrow with our final segment. I want to encourage you, go to our website and learn how you can be an activist that fights to bring this godless organization to an end.